Yo, everybody, welcome back to some more Redstone Academy with me, your host, Celestial. Hi, welcome back. Thanks for continuing to watch and support. In this episode, we are going to be talking about the infamous comparators. Ooh, when these things came out, they gave me a lot of grief, actually, because I didn't try to understand them. I didn't want to try to understand them. And I couldn't wrap my head around them. So I've been digging in deep, digging in hard, trying to find new things that I didn't recently know about them. And I feel like I'm at a pretty comfortable stage where I can kind of show you guys the ropes, or at least, the fundamentals of what they do. So, what is the point of a comparator? Well, it's in the name. It will compare redstone signals. Now, we'll start with this one, actually. No, I'm sorry, we'll start with this one. So you see, this texture pack actually helps us out a lot. I have a 15 and I have a 14. The 14 is going into the comparator. Now, if this redstone was not here, this 14 would continue on through the comparator. However, I have a competing signal. I have a signal coming in that's 15. 15 is coming in through the side, and the directional output is back to front here. So the gist of this is, since 15 is greater than 14, there is no signal that's going to be going through here. It is comparing this input and this input, and if the input from the side of it is larger than the input from the back, there will be no output put through. I have the reverse here, actually, because I have a 14 going in and I have a 13 coming in from the side. It's going to compare that, and it's going to push out the 14. And why is that interesting? Shouldn't it be pushing out a 15? Well, actually, that's a different that's a different functionality of the comparator. No matter what you put into it, it will always return that same output. So I put a 10 in here and a 10 comes out here. That's just another functionality of the comparator. So if I were to say move this torch in a little bit closer, now I have the 15 competing with the 14, the same exact thing that I have over here, actually, and I will not get any output. So what might be interesting, though, is that you can right-click on the comparator and it will change. It'll glow up with a redstone torch-like signal. And that is what we like to call subtract mode. We're actually, now this is in subtract mode, it kind of does exactly what the name's, what the name sounds like. I'm putting in 14 from the back, I'm putting in 13 from the side. 14 minus 13 is 1. So the output from this will be 1. I can change this up a little bit. I can actually put a torch right here, and this is an output of 15. I have 15 coming in from the back, 13 from the side, and that's going to give me out a signal of 2. This is one of the major functionalities of redstone comparators, actually. I should say another one of their major functions. Comparators have a lot of major functions, and they have a lot of different use cases, and they're all confusing, and you'll have to mess around with it a little bit yourself to get your head around it. Although in hindsight, it's not too bad. You just have to understand, okay, what does the side do? The side functionality is comparing it, or if it's in subtract mode, it's subtracting it. That's kind of the only thing about it. One of the largest use cases for comparators is reading in data from blocks. So I have a barrel here, and I've put in 1 redstone lamp. Now, I can actually put in any item that I want. Any item in the game, doesn't matter. It's going to read what's in the barrel and output a signal from it. Now, it might not be the very high signal, but, that's actually a very good use of trying to see what's inside of your chest, or even trying to create a sorting system, because that's actually probably the most used. That's probably one of the major uses or major projects that you use comparators for. Those and hoppers, those are the the item sorter is going to be your big bet. Interestingly enough, actually comparators can read through blocks. So I have a block right here, and it's actually reading in this barrel through the block. Yeah, so this is where things can get a little bit confusing. Now, hear me out. I realized I was trying to do the math on my own, and I actually messed it up, but each chest has 3 columns and 9 rows. I'm sorry, I should say 9 columns and 3 rows. So that adds up to a total of, well, a lot. So how does the comparator know how many things is going into it? Because you'll see if I have 15 items in here, or I'm sorry, 115 items, which I currently have, I have a redstone output of this. But as soon as I put in one more redstone lamp, I have 116 items, and that lights up with 2 now. Why is this the case? Well, that's because I'm taking up currently 2/16 of this chest's whole volume. Now, that might be a little bit confusing because actually, you can see here, I have 2 shovels, and that's giving me the same exact output. Am I still taking up 2/16 of this chest? Well, you kind of are. You're taking up, you could take up a couple more of these slots and you'd still have, 2/16. It rounds down. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It rounds up, I should say, because, no, I think it does round down. I'm just being silly. Yeah. So, if you're occupying 1/16 of this chest, then you will have a output of 1. 2/16 of the chest's whole volume, I should say, then you'll have 2. And I can show this off here with 246 blocks, I will have an output of 3. That's because I'm taking up 3/16 of this chest total volume, whereas this is going to be taking up, rounded down, also 3/16 of the chest's whole volume. That is probably the most confusing part about these comparators, and don't worry, it only gets worse. Right now, what I have is a full chest of redstone lamps. Now, curiously enough, what if I double the chest's total volume? Well, it doesn't actually do anything, or so you might think. That's because this comparator needs to be updated. As soon as you update it, I just put it into subtract mode, but you can also update it by taking off the redstone, replacing it. As soon as you update it with now only half the total volume of the chest, it's only going to give off half the total pulse that it will give out. So that's kind of interesting to know. Here's just a little prototype that I made. When I put something in this dropper, and I know we haven't discussed droppers, but droppers are fairly simple. Put something in, drops it out. Yeah, so I'm reading in what's into the dropper, and if there is at least 1 item, I will transfer into this block with lesser power, take it out of the block, and I will rush it on through, and I'll poke it out to the dropper, powering the dropper with 2nd degree power. What's going on here, though, is when I put a signal of 1 in here, it's taking it out and creating a signal of 15, dropping it down to 14, 13, 12, 11. Now, what this is doing is this is actually comparing, oh, is 11 greater than 1? Yes, it is. So I'm going to shut off this block, inherently shutting this off, meaning that this is now 0. This is still 1. It's still reading in 1, or it could be reading in more. And with that, we have ourselves a little bit of a clock here. And I say clock, it's going to keep doing this until I completely spit out all of the redstone lamps. There's actually a really good use case if you're trying to, push something through a certain area. Yeah. So, comparators actually affect a lot of different blocks in the game. They affect furnaces. If there's something going on in a furnace, it will take an output from it. They inspect jukeboxes. I currently have a CD in here. It's reading that CD. It will read the honey levels of both of these beehives. This is 4, this is 3. So respectively, I will get 4 and I will get 3. Here, it's actually reading in a respawn anchor, which is really interesting. I just decided to slap this down to test it out. But yeah, as you put glowstone in the respawn anchor, you will actually gain more stuff from this. More of a redstone pulse. Interestingly enough, the end gate is redstone comparable. What are the brewing stands are compatible, cauldrons are compatible, hoppers are compatible, lecterns with books are compatible. Cake is actually compatible, funnily enough, and actually as you eat the cake, you can see it going down. Composters are compatible, and lastly, well, I shouldn't say lastly, actually there could be a lot more things to this, but these are all the things that I could think of that are compatible with the comparator. Wow, try saying that 5 times fast, that is hard. But yeah, item frames, you can actually see as you spin this item frame, this gets higher and higher up to 8, and then it will drop back down to 1. And I'm reading it through a block, like we discussed earlier. So that is, for the most part, comparators. Yeah, I'm sorry if this wasn't the most well-constructed episode. I tried my best. Comparators are honestly a little bit confusing. They confuse me to this day still, and I try to use them in more projects, but they're confusing. But I wanted to show you what actually like a case might look like. So I actually am reading in a comparator into a comparator. I'm reading in a level of, where does it actually tell me what the level of this is? I don't know. What am I reading in a level of? I'm reading in a level of 10. So I'm pushing in 10 through this block. And imagine this, I'm trying to figure out just how many items I have in here. So if I can beat out 10/16 of this whole total volume, which I think should be around here. It was a little bit more actually, but I am currently beating out this cake in this chest. As soon as I drop below 10/16 of this total volume, I will no longer have any redstone output going in. I could also do the same thing with the subtract mode, and actually, now that I have a full chest in here, I have 16/16 of this chest going on, so I'm outputting a 15 pulse. 15 minus 10 is 5, of course, so this was just a little look at a kind of thing that you might see while you're working with comparators. Anyway, yes, that was comparators. That was pretty long-winded, but thank you guys for sticking with me. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed the video, please feel free to like and subscribe. I will be coming out with more of these soon. Next episode, I'm debating actually. I don't fully know what I'm going to do yet, but maybe I will take a look at droppers or pistons or something. Pistons I need to look a little bit more into because I don't know too much about their quasi-connectivity. So I might have to take a little in-depth little research session into that. But yes, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next episode of Redstone Academy. Bye-bye.